Here's a story. um, it's like a Sephardic story. In other words, it could be true, but the point is a true point. It wasn't in some town in Poland like 200 years ago, 300 years ago, that one of the advisors to the king was a Jew. And the king took the Jew aside and he said that I just heard from one of the priests over here that you Jews say that there's going to be a big war in the end of times and that the Jews are going to be the ones that are going to remain. How can there be such a thing like that? Look at you Jews. You haven't got any weapons. You haven't got any army. And even if you do have weapons and army, you're outnumbered 500 to 1. How could you possibly even dream that you're going to win a war against all the other nations in the world, that only you are going to be left? So the Jew said, well, listen, I'll show you. First of all, we're not going to kill anybody. We're just all the people that oppose us, that are pro-death, will all die. But the ones that don't, okay, it doesn't make any difference. Let's see how prove to me. You said you can prove it. Let's see if you can prove to me that it's possible even that you'll win. He said, okay, I'll show you. He said, you people, you like rooster fights, right? Cockfights, they're called. He says, yeah, sure. He says, okay, you tell all of your dukes and all of your barons and all of your important people, they should all bring their rooster. And they should have the coat of arms of their particular house, whatever, and I'll bring my rooster. And we'll have a big war and we'll see who wins. So the king said, man, that's a lot of roosters. You're going to defeat all of them? I mean, there's like 200 barons and dukes over there. He says, yeah, I can defeat them all. He says, okay. So the king makes an announcement that in 2 weeks there's going to be a huge cockfight. And all of the ministers and the officials and the important people and the dukes and the barons and the lords, whatever, are all going to bring their rooster. And the Jew is going to bring his rooster, and he claims that his rooster will win. And the king builds a big stadium just for the occasion. It seats 10, 20,000 people. Everybody comes there, and it's already arranged in the field. Below the center, there are all these cages, like about 200-300 cages. And each cage has a door that can be pulled up, open. It's all connected to one big rope to open them all. So all these dukes and barons and people, they come with their roosters, and they're just awesome roosters. They have to be carried. Each one has to carry his rooster in a special cage because they're just so dangerous. And so they have huge the claws, and they also are allowed to put little razors. They put little razors on them in order to make sure that it's efficient. And they sharpen their beaks a little bit. And so they come, 200 of them, 250, and they bring these awesome looking, massive roosters, like each one weighs like 50 pounds, 70 pounds. And they're trained fighters, and they all each one puts his rooster in a different cage with his sign on the cage. And the Jew brings his rooster, a little skinny rooster with almost no claws whatsoever, weighs maybe 5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. And they all laughing what to do. He knows some sort of special, well, he's got some sort of special weapons or something. What? How can you possibly win with it? The Jew says, you'll see. And so they put all the roosters in their various cages, and the people are all sitting impatient in the stands. And the king stands up, it's total silence, and the king announces that now there's going to be a grand war between all of the roosters. The winner will get $100,000. Winner, whoever rooster is left, will be with him. And the Jew claims that his rooster is going to be able to defeat all the other roosters. The whole crowd bursts out in tremendous laughter, like that. The Jew just stands there, thinking of something else, saying words of Torah, something by heart. Doesn't seem to be affected by the whole business. And he puts his bird also in a cage. So the king said, and now let the fight begin. And the trumpets blare. and someone comes out, a big, strong, one of the servants of the king, and pulls this rope, and the rope is attached to all the other ropes on all the entrances, openings of the cages, and it lifts up the opening of all the cages. They all slide up, and all the chickens, the huge roosters, are in their cages, and there's like half a minute of silence. The silence. All the roosters look and they see what's going on with the other roosters, and suddenly, with a tremendous scream and a crowing, and they all jump out feet first, clawing first. They jump out at each other, and they're pecking, and they're clawing, and they're cutting, and they're slicing, and they're boiling this, and there's just feathers flying all over the place, and blood is splashing on the crowd. The crowd loves it. They're just out of their mind. Look at that one. And the roosters are going, choosing their own partners to fight with, and they're fighting 2 against 1 and 5 against 3, and they're fighting. And this lasts for maybe 10, 15 minutes. And the crowd is, after the 10 to 15 minutes, like the whole the air is filled with feathers and with blood and with guts and with this, and little by little it all settles down. And it settles down. Everybody looks to see where's the chicken, what chicken is left. You see that all the chickens are all cut up and they're all bleeding to death and they're all quivering. There's just a big, huge mass of quivering the flesh and this. And from a corner comes out the little chicken of the Jew. He didn't want anything to do with all the war. They opened up the cages. He saw what was going on. He just went back into his cage and sat there for a little while. Then when the thing was over, he comes out and he pecks over here, a little eye over there. He eats, and a little this. The Jew says, this, your majesty, is how the Jews, if there is a global war, how the Jews are going to be the ones that will survive. Because they're not going to want any part of it. They're not interested in war at all. On the other hand, all the other nations are very interested in war. They're interested in winning, and their desire for victory will precisely be their defeat. And that is how it can possibly be that Am Yisrael Chai Lenetzach forever, that God will arrange it, that they won't have to be involved in any of these wars at all. Have a good day with Mashiach now. Thank you all for coming. And tomorrow, Friday, 8:15.